I had a sleep and I had a thought about the project. In fact, I did some research on how to start your first game. I watched these YouTube videos, which is basically extra credit explaining it. And well, one of the big recommendations is to make something we can play as soon as possible. So let's just dash straight for that goal, right? How do we make our little hexagon thing into something we can play with, like a real game? So I was, with that in mind, I was like, okay, how do you make it playable? Well, we'll display, you know, a character on screen, which you are. In fact, I went ahead and do that. So I went to it off stream. It turned out to be quite easy to do because there was already support for like reading images, and we didn't have to do any like Nix stuff in this case. But the second part of that is more interesting, I think, for stream, in that we also have to make it align with our grid system. So at the moment, I'm just using pixel coordinates, but we need to make this line up with some tile, maybe, right? We want to put everything in our tiles because this is how we divide up our world space. So we need to put our character on the grid. In other words, we want to have some kind of tile position for our character. And then the character should be able to, right. So we're gonna make it on some grid position, and then I think I want to, okay, let's first do that. I think. So we did this. We did load image. That's all done now. There's some more thoughts to be had about this, but that's for later. Because at the moment I'm not committing the images to the Git repository. I have thought about it and I probably should do that. In fact, we're gonna do it right now. The reason I didn't want to do that before because I was afraid of like large diffs or whatever. But if we get to the point where this becomes problematic, we can deal with it then. You know, I don't think it will become a big problem anytime soon because we will deal with small images first. And Viking. And the other concern I had was for DMCA, so you could get like takedowns of your Git repository. But again, that's something I can deal with later. So I'll just commit it for now. And that will make our build again reproducible, which is important to me. Oh, right. Also fix the git ignore. Don't ignore images. This should be fine. Okay. And the other thing is like, I don't really own these images. Skybro, how are you doing? Yeah, so we're just like reconvening on our goals right now. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna make our little character, which we have by the way. Let's enter the Nix shell and I'll show it. Our character, which can't move right now. The other thing, we actually can run this thing in GHI. Something to keep in mind. So yeah, this is our character, but we can't really move it anything. So that's what we're gonna deal with right now. And the other thing is, it's not aligned to the grid system. So it's just being put somewhere. Yeah, we also have click detection, as you can see. We know where we're clicking. So this is 5.4. What was the trick? I followed the blog post more precisely. So we are actually using Sign to render now. And rather than my ad hoc methods that just did something, we used the cosine and sine things. We just, you know, use degrees for the corners. Yeah, good choice. Yeah, I don't like to invent my own math, you know. I'll just reuse whatever they have. That's a good choice indeed. Line 58 drives me mad. Oh, okay, like this then, I guess. I'll line it up for you. You'll be happy. Cool. Yeah. So that's what we have now, right? We have our little character here in the corner. We have a little guy. And we're gonna make it first respect the tile system. So this would be 0,1. At the moment it's just like some pixel coordinate, but we're gonna make it respect the tiles. So that's the goal. And then the second part, I should write these goals down. Goal. There you go. No, we're not gonna do that. To do. Make our character respect capital letters the grid system. And then the second goal will be let our character move somehow. So this is like any method is allowed, and in this case we're probably gonna use like keyboard inputs. But yeah, I guess that will be fine. We can go like, well, it's a bit problematic because you can go 6 directions, right? So you can't use your arrow keys because what is up? You know, is up left, up right? Which one would it be? And same for down. I guess left and right is easy. Just choose org capture. Finding org files manually. Please optimize overflow or workflow. What do you have me do, man? What's org capture anyway? Please optimize overflow. That's what I heard. Let's look at our goals again. So display character on the grid, which means oh wait, why are you not here? You should be more powerful. So you should be outside of our tiling. Yeah, like that. Good. Like that. There you go. So let our character move somehow, any method, and then we want to like maybe insert orders as well. To do insert order. So by this I mean we make the order and then we use a button to execute it, which will be our turn button. You know, move a turn ahead. You get an idea. You press binding, pick template, for example, project to do, and it pops up a mini buffer. You write your idea and commit. Now it files it away to your project to do.org. Oh, that's pretty cool. I wouldn't know where my project to do.org is. Or capture. Select capture template. What? Oh, it's T, I guess. Oh, it's a to do. Warning, capture requirement, switch buffer nodes to org mode. I don't know what it means. I heard a warning. Okay, so yeah, the final thing is I want to make this turn-based, this game. So it's one thing to have our character move around somehow, but I want to give it more control because we're on a hexagon. Like just giving initial keyboard input. Yeah, that's because I didn't redraw, so I didn't know how to display this anymore. Anyway, arrow keys won't quite work because we have 6 directions. So we either don't use arrow keys and we use like Z, X, D. I don't know. I don't even know what you would use for a hex. But instead we'll just use the mouse, right? So you select here and then you right click there and you give it like the order to go there. That's what we want. So order input system. Move character around with mouse. Around with mouse somehow. And let's not do the turns just yet, because that would be a bit more difficult as well. Suggest a project idea involving megaparsec and API megaparsec. Just make like a CSV parser, right? CSV parser. And then you display it in an HTML web page. Wouldn't that be cool? You get like a rendered link to the table. That would work? Oh. Really? CSV would be really easy to do as well. Man, that's like, yeah, really basic. Well then make an XML parser. Display it in a table. XML is really hard. You can ask CFlat for his XML troubles. Lambda calculus. I guess you could also parse the lambda calculus. Oh yeah. And then the result will be the result of evaluation. That's always true though. Okay, we got our goals. You need to respect the grid system. How do you make it respect the grid system? Why is it so laggy? Do you feel this is laggy? Just make like an initial position first. Char pause. So our character is currently this. We just say it, hey, you are at this rectangle position. I guess technically this is not even a position. This is the position and this is how big it is. 50-50. So to take from that what you want. I only have 2 days. If you only have 2 days, you want to do the CSV parser, like I told you. Because figuring out megaparsec will be difficult enough. So actually doing anything challenging, you won't have to have any more time to do anything challenging. Like 2 full days or just 2 evenings? Like 2 hour streams. Lisp parser. I already know a bit of megaparsec. Okay, you probably know more about it than I do then. Because I know nothing about that. Initial position would be like maybe 2, 2 or 2, 3. Let's try out that GHCI idea, by the way. So we can do GHCI. I think we can do GHCI. We'll go to app, exe. Oh. How do you enable language extensions by default in GHCI? Because that's what I have. We can close this. Clever me enabled all of these. I have a GHCI file. Ooh. How do you enable language extensions again in GHCI? It's set and then X. Okay, we'll use some FimMagic to enable all of these. These are all annoying. Should always be enabled. Dash space set X G. You prepend no to turn them off. Why would I ever want to turn them off? I failed you, yappy yappy. No, that's fine. Hello Sour, how are you doing? Welcome back. We figured out how to run our game in GHCI. That's cool. I love that. We're running like an SDL app in our interpreter. Oh, it doesn't respect clicks. Oh. Oh, that's weird. I bet this is some kind of GHCI bug. Just pointing out there is no plus version. What's plus? Oh, I understand. So how to remove it. It's not with plus or minus, but the minus is more as like... Actually, if you think about it, it's weird. They prepend like everything with minus. Even though it's just a dedicated command, right? I don't know what you're doing, Emacs. Stop doing it. So apparently this doesn't work because it breaks on the native dependency, which is unfortunate. And I don't know how to solve this either. Don't blame Emacs. Of course I blame Emacs. What else would you blame? So that's pretty cool, right? I love clicking, by the way. I don't know if you can tell, but it's just so cool. It's so snappy as well. It's so fast. Remember Reflex in GHC.js? It always felt a little bit sloggy, but now it's just like click and you're there. There's like no time. No FPS cap. No FPS cap. Indeed. Yeah. There is actually, we don't even have a frame rate. This thing will only re-render if there's something to re-render. So it will just display the same image if nothing is going on. Or FPS is like 1 until you start doing things, and then it becomes higher. As fast as you can click, I guess. Reflex, fast. Well, aren't they just forwarding those as options to GHC? I guess so. That's why you have the dash. But couldn't they, you know, make that command in such a way that the dash would just be appended by default? Because, like, letting the user type that dash everywhere is kind of dumb. Oh, there's a plus! Look at that! What does this do? There is a plus. My god. He reads what he wants to read. Doesn't everyone? Oh, right. I have a list of goals, so I don't forget what I'm doing. Initial character position. Okay, what are we gonna do with that? We need to render based on that character position. So that would be the render with tile. Oh, we're doing it here, right? So we just render the tile, I guess. And that's how babies are born. So we'll get our initial char position, put it in render tile, and then it respects our grid system. Because we no longer use a pixel coordinate to determine our character position, but instead we use render tile. Oh, right. That's a problem. No. So I don't want to have hexagon settings. I just want to have a point. I want to do tile to pixel. Tile to pixel. Which is different from rendering it. Reflex is bad equals reflex. Reflex is fast. So now it's at 2,2, right? And if we move the character to, say, 2,3, which is 1 lower, it should be there. Fingers crossed. And look at that, it's in 2,3. So we figured out how to respect our grid system by basically using the same code as Hexagon does. Isn't that cool to have code reuse? Wow. Okay, so now we need to capture keyboard events so we can make it move. Actually, come to think of it, this is kind of easy to do all this stuff. So we may also implement a turn system this today. To do implement turn. Well, this will be a bit hard. We also need to make like arrows, I guess. Maybe not yet. Let's not get over committed. You know, this is what we can finish today. We can definitely do these 3 things, and then if we do more, that will be amazing. But yeah, so let's get like keyboard input, keyboard event, which has keyboard event data. So we'll get the event out here. And then we need to basically figure out which key is being pressed. I don't know which one. Whether the key was pressed or released. Okay, I guess we need to know that. And we need to know the key sim. Okay. STL virtual representation for this keyboard scan code. I guess we'll use keyboard scan code, which is a number. Maybe scan code, which is another number. Okay. Key code. To number from number modifier. Don't you have like a sum type of keys? Why do I have to deal with numbers? What is this? Motion. Key sim. A description of the key that this event pertains to. Key code. There's nothing else. This is it. Say it's a. Oh, it's not an enum. It probably is an enum. But oh wait. Oh, actually, they made pattern match for scan code. So we can pattern match on the scan code. That's not convenient at all. I would even argue that's inconvenient. I would go as far because this doesn't compose with lenses. So key code. How do I convert a pattern into a lens or a prism? So we got key code, the STL's virtual representation for this key, and we got a scan code. From what I understand, this is generated by hardware, and then STL maybe do some magic to map it to its own representation. And we probably want to use the STL representation because it's platform independent, meaning that this will work on Windows. Hooray! Windows. And also with different keyboards probably. So do you have like key, arrow, up? Well, you got plenty of keys, I guess. But it's scan code. We don't want to do scan code. We want to do key. So key, code, arrow, or up. There we go. Key, up, down, left, right. Data, arrow, keys, arrow up, arrow down, arrow left, arrow right. This is the representation I want. This is what they're giving me. So I don't know how this works, by the way, this pattern stuff. I think I can just put it in. I'm not sure at all. By name, maybe? Do you have an example? So we'll put in the arrow key, put in a key code, and out comes maybe arrow keys, right? And then we put in a pattern. Key code up, just arrow up. Key code down, arrow down. Well, you get the idea, right? Left, right. Now, this is something I can use. I'm thinking, like, why does it look so weird? But I think this is correct. It looks so weird because I've been using a lambda case everywhere before. It probably doesn't work with pattern. Oh, it looks weird because this is like a it looks like a data constructor, but it's just a pattern alias thing, I think. I don't know. Let's try to build it. I'll probably get upset. Why does it work? I'm just guessing here, okay? It's also partial, by the way. You forget to save it or something. Okay, first try, I guess. So we get the key code out, and then we need to go. We don't care about input motion, really. Key code out, eSIM, keyboard event data. So we need to figure out which of these is being pressed. So put in the keyboard event sim thing, then we got a key sim out. Compose that with a scan code thing, like that. I guess I want an fmap maybe. And then we compose that with arrow key. And then we get like a maybe event, but we just want to filter out all the events that are not arrow keys. So Reflex has this thing called fmap maybe, I think. It's from Witherable. Map maybe. There we go. A to maybe B. Get a keyboard event. We still want to fmap it inside because we're in a monad thing, right? So it's like this. Makes complete sense to me. So for now, I just wanna make sure this works. So let's just use this little trick. Perform event for arrow key. And then print. Wow. Root string line. Okay. All right. We need to lift IO. So let's see. We make it flat, re-render, and now we press. There we go. It works. First try. Okay. I'll take a small break. Get something to drink. Be right back. Yeah, I need that. My man. So, we filter out everything except if we get an arrow key, which we just defined here somehow. And once we press an arrow key, we do this stuff. So we print blah, 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 which happened here. Okay, so we know it works, right? So let's just take, I think we need to accumulate and press. I'm thinking like, okay, how do we make this into a movable character position? And there's this thing called accum in Reflex. This is like in Reflex base even, it's not in the Reflex STL. It's accumulating state. So we trash in the event here, we put the initial thing in here, and then we can map and get it out in the F. What is F? It's a good question. In fact, it's an accumulator, so anything that you can accumulate, which in our case is dynamic, probably. Also event. Oh, I didn't know that. We're gonna make it a dynamic though. So let's make this typed though, because otherwise we'll go insane. Update player state. Player state with movement. Oh, actually, let's just handle the arrow keys first. Okay. I was thinking of going to hexagon and using the points, the directions. Top right point, bottom right point. That's not even what we want quite, right? Because we don't want these points, but we want to have these ribs, which is something else. There are also 6 of them, but they're the labels are not quite the same. Because you get like the top left ridge, top right ridge, and then you got the right ridge. And let's look at it. So we got right, top left, bottom right. Which is different from the points, because you definitely got like a top point and a bottom point. In case of the ridges, you get like a right one and a left one. So yeah, you need to make labels for that at some point as well to indicate moving direction. We'll just describe them as ridges. You can use them however you want. Anyway, update player state. In goes the arrow key. Let's keep the type signature at hand though, because I need to figure this out. In goes the arrow key, and in goes a tile. Previous tile, we have an arrow key, and out comes another tile. So this is the inner function here. So we got a tile. I wonder if we have lenses to access that thing. Now it's gonna get a little weird because these tiles are Q and R based. So how do you even change, you know, if you have the top arrow key? Where are you gonna go? Well, we're gonna decide that right now. If you have arrow up, what are you gonna do? We call Ghostbusters. That's what you're gonna do. So, arrow up. I guess you're gonna modify Q or something. Q is equal to... oh, it's over. It's plus. Oh my god, we can use these for once. Isn't that great? You have these things that work on numbers as well. I almost never get to use these things because, you know, I never deal with numbers. Oh, maybe we don't have them. I'm pretty sure they are there though. It is there. I knew it. It exists. So you can put in some number and it will like make it go up. So Q plus 1. What if you do if you go down? You're gonna do Q minus 1. What's the difference between Q and R, you ask? Well, I don't know. But that's what you're gonna do. And it's just so we can get some kind of movement to prove to ourselves this works. This is not the final solution. This is just my lack of experience demanding from me. I use this simple solution first. So now we're gonna assume. And then I want to have like a function that provides me image settings from tile. So render tile, render Viking or something, I don't know. So in comes the tile, out comes the Viking. But you also have a texture. Actually, you should be part of image to think of it. Let's look at let's first look at hexagon. You got these conversions, right? Pixel to tile, tile to pixel. These should not even be in this module because I want to make this function that makes image settings. However, this module also depends on image because I made the labels use image instead. A bit cleaner, a little bit cleaner. It's still ugly, but it's more explicit. Still a clusterfuck here, but yeah. What do you do? So image settings. Yeah. What did I do? Oh, I had the other thing open, right? So we're gonna move this down to grid. Tile to pixel, pixel to tile. Tile to pixel, pixel to tile. And then we can depend on them. And then I'm gonna run that, and I'm gonna run that. And everything looks nice again. Cool. Cool. This module is a bit more manageable now. Still too big, but what are you gonna do? Right. Now I want to be able to do this in image. So we got this new image module I made yesterday in secret off stream. And what this does, it's loading that PNG image and then returning a texture. So this is using the embed file library, which just puts this entire file into our binary. So we don't even do any file loading at runtime. It will be part of the binary, which I just find amazing, funny. No other programming language I know can easily do that. I guess you can kind of hack it together in C, but it will be hard. And then the other thing I do is provide a like nicer API on top of copy, because this is like some kind of variable you probably never want to use in case of a game. So just, you know, apply it already. And the renderer we can just ask from the environment. So yeah, we can make this a bit simpler. So this entire thing just becomes these 2 arguments rather than, you know, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's not that bad, I guess. I'm making it seem worse than it is. Still a lot. And unlabeled. 4 is too much. What are we even doing? All right, we're gonna make image settings from tile. So you get a text here, you get a tile. Text, tile. And then you can spit out image settings. Probably also want to have a size. You can deal with that later. That's fine. Yeah, this seems a bit dumb as a function, but there you have it. It does clean it up a bit though. We put in the initial char position. Text, tile. A nice way of doing this is that we still can modify the rectangle later on. So having this default value of 50-50 is not a bad idea at all. If most of our things will be of that size, then everything will work out. But you know, if 50-50 is not a good default, we can fix it up later. But you can still modify it because it's just a pure value. So it's not bad. Not a bad way of doing it, I think. Render tile die key, which we load here. And by loading, I mean read it from yourself and make a texture out of it, because you are the binary. We don't have files anymore. We just jam everything in one massive binary. I love that kind of trickery. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. Probably crazy. Character position. Initial character position, okay. Oh, didn't we have like a vacuum thing? Right, we're gonna make a vacuum thing. So vacuum. Update player state, because that's what we need to put in, right? Yeah. So we'll put in update player state there. But we already have that thing for arrow keys here. And we need to put in the initial value as well, which will be initial character position here. So the events will be the arrow keys, which will be B, and then the tiles will be here. So we update the tiles, and then the initial tile will be there. So update player state to update the tiles from the arrow keys, the initial character position, and the arrow key from that thing we just built. Delete this. And out comes the dynamic. Dynamic layer pos. And now you may be wondering, how are we gonna deal with that, right? Well, you'll need to become a dynamic too. T image settings. But no, don't worry about this, because we can still deal with the dynamic easily. So this is settings dying now. But this will become settings. And everything turns out nice. So doing dynamic T image settings allows us to change during the game the texture and the position. So we can change both, which will be cool. This also allows us to do animations, for example. We can swap out the texture with something else over time. So we fixed all these problems. So we can now move it. We'll see if it compiles. But we should be able to move it now. Oh, we can't move it, unfortunately. It's completely broken. But we're getting there, I think. We have the idea, right? We have the idea. It's just a small little problem in that we moved a bunch of stuff to grid. So we need to port it from here. Put it into grid. You're getting really small. Okay, import all that stuff. Oh, you also need to know about cint, which is like a foreign import. So annoying to deal with cint. It's the most annoying thing ever. Hex size. Ooh, that's a problem. Grid hex size. We can actually make that an argument. I think that's the best solution for now, because we don't know the hex size in the grid. Or we can move it to grid. That wouldn't be too bad either. I think that's fine. Hex size. Yeah, let's just move it to grid for now. Then it's not a problem. I don't want to deal too long with that hexagon stuff, you know. We kind of fixed it for our use case. We don't need to make it work for everyone. Another scope tile. but you can import tile now from grid in image. Right, you are no longer of... you need to become pure. Pretty much tile with actual type texture. Let's suggest render tile. Oh, wait, what? Is that in grid? Oh, that's an image. Why do they call it render tile? Why don't we call it render image? As render tile with render image. What? What did I just do? Render tile hexagon settings. I don't know what I just did. That seems wrong. Yeah. Don't do that. Do it like yeah. No, I need to undo more. You need to know about render image. Oh, I know what happened. I used render tile to get the hexagon out. So we need to use render image. Put in a texture first, and then it works. Variable in the scope, render image. Yeah, that's a problem. Oh, I didn't save this. Could I match tile with... Oh, okay. So that's a fun issue. A little issue here. We need to... I think we can... No. Oh, you're so annoying. Oh, you're so annoying. Come on. How is that even a thing? Come on, man. What? What is this a ligature? Jesus Christ. It still doesn't line up. What is this? Skyball will really at this point. So, yeah, he's actually moving too, isn't he? He's also going the wrong direction. But there you have it. This is me pressing the arrow keys, by the way. You can see it here. Is that cool? I love it. Yeah, it's that minus. Yeah, it's ligatures. Maybe I'm growing out of ligatures. You know, maybe the fun game has been over, or maybe I should step away from Fura code. You know, it's too old. Arrow key. This binding shadows the existing one. It's an arrow key event. Okay, so we made our character respect our grid system. That was the first thing we did. We made it move somehow. That's the second thing we did. And we're not even in the first hour, you know. We already finished 2 of these tasks. Isn't that amazing? It's quite quick, I think. I always like, these days I feel like I'm going like quick with implementing stuff. It feels like way more time has passed than actually has. We should have a chat. Like tell me about your day. We should slow down. We should appreciate what are we doing. Do you think we wouldn't believe you? Is that a good thing? That we already finished 2 tasks from Haskell on the daily. From coding in Haskell on the daily. What do you mean this is a good thing? I don't understand the question. That is terrible English. I'm reading how to cook everything. Oh, what are you reading about? Which recipe are you reading about to cook? Is it a good thing that you implement stuff quickly? Do you think coding in Haskell for your job is helping you to write Haskell faster? That's a good question. Like the things I'm building in for the job at the moment, it's kind of boring actually. So I'm actually like looking forward to these like game hacking sessions because it's way more interesting. But yeah, I guess like you'll get better at solving type errors, for example. And also you just, you know, I take some time sometimes to read about Haskell stuff, which, you know, I can justify because it's important for me to know about it. Become one with GHC. Yeah. Keep the compiler close, right? No idea so far, just some preliminary setup. Wait, it's a cookbook, but they haven't talked about cooking yet. I have a meeting. Oh, see you later. Could become one with the compiler. Complete zen. Yeah. Actually, unfortunately, I can't cook because I have to empty my fridge before I'm going to Aruba. So it's kind of unfortunate. Oh, I need to cook some more meat, I guess. I don't have enough meat, but yeah. That was totally a humble brag, by the way. I'm sorry for that. Flexed. Add language extensions. Do you only have, don't you have all the ingredients in your fridge? Oh, I mean the freezer. So what I do is, because I live alone, I cook for a bunch of days. Like I cook for maybe 6 or 7 days, and then I take like 2 or 3 hours to cook that. So in the end, it's still very efficient to cook like that. But I can cook and I can make something delicious and then eat for a longer time. So I can, you know, justify more time for cooking like that. So yeah, I'm just emptying out the freezer now. Add language extensions to GTI. That's the first thing we solved. Data goals. Second thing we solved. And then let our character respect our grid system and move. That's the third thing we solved. I'm cooking more for longer. I get enough after 3 days. Oh, so what you do is you cook one meal for 6 days, and then you cook another meal for 6 days again, and then you do that again for 6 days, and you just intersperse, right? So you got like meal A 6 times, meal B 6 times, and meal C 6 times. Of you each, like on the first day you eat of meal A freshly, you eat meal B on the second day freshly, you will eat meal C on the third day freshly, and then you go back to A, and then B, and then C, you know, and then, you know, after a while you'll make like a meal E, and there's still some stuff left in here, and you completely forgot about A after like 2 or 3 weeks. And then you find it back 2 months later, and it's still delicious because it's frozen. So you find it like a treat from the past. That's what I do, at least. So you just intersperse the meals. A, B, C, E, H, A, B, E, H. Fresh frozen. Freshly frozen. Well, it still tastes good, you know? It's not like you lose anything. Fresh does taste a little bit better, definitely, but it's not a massive difference. Freezer is amazing. I guess that's like one of the biggest improvements at my current place is that I get the freezer for myself completely, so I can put so much shit in there, freshly frozen. So move character with mouse somehow. So first of all, we need to know select a tile. I guess we can just we already have something selected, right? How do we do that? Oh, we do that weirdly, don't we? Yeah, we do that weirdly. Yeah, I remember now. We have our little trick here. And that's not quite right. It's not the reflex way of doing things. Not here. So another thing to keep in mind is that this will be rendered later on. So it respects order. So if you draw something here, if you draw the tiles here, for example, does it work like that? Oh, it's this stuff, yeah. Anyway, if you draw the tiles here, for example, this will be rendered first. But then on top of that, our character will be drawn here. So that's just how you build up a buffer, right? You draw something, and then you can draw something on top of that, and you can keep on going. Which is cool. I don't know if anyone cares about that knowledge, but yeah, so what I'm thinking now is that we can just draw or select a tile on top of our existing grid rather than replacing it, because that's what we're doing right now. We're replacing it with we're replacing the selected tile, but we don't even have to do that. We can just draw on top of it. It's completely fine. It would simplify this a bit as well. Render with tile. What else render do? Oh, this is this renders the selected one, I think. Yeah, this renders the selected one, and this is just a comparison. So are you selected or not? So we're doing 2 things at the same time here. Oh, that's not what I want. I want to make it simpler, easier. Let me ponder this a little bit. Yep, I got nothing. I want to go back to the way it was first, I think, and then we'll figure out how to do the selection again later. Yeah, I want to have a selected dynamic, and then I want to render that, because we're going to use that dynamic for something else as well. I need to have that as a dynamic value. How do you even know you're selected? Oh, you used the mouse key. or you use the last mouse button event, get mouse button event here, and then your filter has left click. Okay, and then select the tile events. What does select the tile do? Let's scroll down. Oh, you're mapping it. Oh, like that. Okay. Well, in fact, select clicked tile and T tile. Is selected tile events mouse click, left mouse clicks, click events. This is our clicked tile event, and you can be an event, right? Yeah. I'll just use the performable trick. So we'll undo all this stuff. Render with tile. Yeah, this is way too complicated. Render with tile, nothing. We don't need to do this. You always have a tile now. We can keep this, I guess. But you don't need to be maybe. Render tile. And this entire we need to make a endo functor. We need to make a function that says how a selected tile should look. So that will be hexagon color is filled. Render selected. So you put in a tile that's selected. You just render that. Oh, I guess we can just compose everything to that. Yeah. So compose, and compose. So in comes the tile, we render it to hexagon settings, and then we apply the is filled is true, and then we set some color to it here. And yeah, we need to fix the label at some point as well, but that's not a big deal right now. There's like lots of little tasks we're just kind of ignoring for now, but that's fine. So all this stuff will just disable this entire selected tile. I guess you still need to hold in with Alt View. Render with tile. You always have a tile now, right? Oh, we don't care about the tiles anymore. So we can just traverse always. Alt View. In fact, we need to do something similar here later on, but that's fine. Render with tile. Selected tile. No. Oh, I guess we don't even need to do this. You don't need to get a tile. So we'll just do render grid. There you go. I guess you're just a separate function that can be here. Should delete the function, whatever. So for clicked tile, we want to hold view, and then we want to render selected. We want to render selected, and then we want to inside hexagon, which is almost intentionally kind of awkward for dealing with this stuff. But yeah, hold view pure. So if you have nothing selected yet, you don't do anything, and we always just traverse this thing, I guess. So that never updates. You should be that. Okay. Okay. Weird, but sure. You traverse those R and Qs, man. Wait,